Hello guys, welcome to Psychologist. My name is Pierre, I'm a psychologist. I've talked before about how you have an unconscious system of thinking in your brain that controls your emotions and makes a lot of decisions for you, etc. If you want to know more about that, you should read my blog posts on the topic on psychologist.com, and I'll put the links in the description for you. Now, your unconscious system of thinking, that I call your autopilot, is really like an invisible force controlling you from within. And when it comes to weight loss, it's a big factor because your autopilot doesn't actually want you to lose weight. Your autopilot has a lot of power over you, and it hinders your weight loss progress by controlling most of what you do every day. And one of the big ways it controls you is through your emotions. So pay attention and you'll be able to understand how it works and learn to see this invisible force that is keeping you from reaching your goals. Let's get into it. Human beings are not random, and your brain is not random. There is always a reason for what it's doing, even if it's not obvious what that reason is. Now, before I get into this, I want to clarify that when I refer to your autopilot, I'm talking about parts of your brain that causes automatic unconscious decisions and actions. You do, of course, have conscious control over yourself, but only when you actively exercise it, right? Or in other words, when you actively take manual control. The more tired, distracted, or stressed you are, the more you tend to rely on your autopilot. But anyway, most of the time as human beings, we're controlled by short-term rewards. We tend to do things that feel good in the moment, even if it has negative consequences in the long run. That's mostly because your autopilot works that way. It's not a function of your unconscious to think about the future. It exists only here and now, so your unconscious brain is constantly suggesting that you choose the immediate reward. According to the autopilot in all of our brains, psychological discomfort or negative emotions are problems that need to be solved immediately. That's what causes your instincts to always seek comfort, safety, and pleasure. And your brain is a problem-solving machine, right? All day long you encounter situations that need to be evaluated and reacted to, and your autopilot is the one that takes care of most of that. So it's not a surprise that it leads you to do things that give quick pleasure or to avoid discomfort, such as overeating or skipping workouts. Now, your autopilot is smart. It doesn't want to reinvent the wheel, so if it has used a solution to a problem before, it will try to use that solution again. It becomes a habit, right? And even if you don't always like the quick solutions of your autopilot, you still usually go along with it simply because it works and it feels good immediately. You might also already be tired and stressed out from your day, and so often you don't even make a conscious decision, but just automatically go along with your habits. So, quick recap. The autopilot in your brain is a problem-solving machine with the goal of finding pleasure and avoiding discomfort right here and now. This is a simple way to illustrate your brain's problem-solving process. The fast automatic process only cares about here and now. It's your slow manual thinking that can see the future. And again, check the blog post in the description for more info on that. Here's the same process a little bit more clearly. A problem has occurred or something has happened inside you or in your environment that in some way feels unpleasant. And then you do something that makes you feel better instantly. Here's another very concrete example of the same process. Your leg is itching, you scratch it, and it feels better. Problem solved. Now, based on this example, just imagine how many times a day this kind of process happens. If you controlled all of it consciously, you wouldn't have time to do anything else. Anyway, as I said, the brain does not want to reinvent the wheel, so it reuses the solution. Anytime your leg itches, just scratch. Now, it's even smarter than that, so it will spread the solution to similar problems that it might work for. So when it itches on your arm or on your head, just scratch. It's a very useful solution, right? An interesting note here as well is that whenever you're not supposed to scratch an itch, like if you have a wound, how difficult is it to not do it? Most of the time you remember after you've already started scratching, right? That's exactly how the autopilot and habits work. When your conscious mind catches up and you stop yourself, you've already been scratching for a while. And this process is very important to remember. In this way, you react to things and act very quickly without ever really making a conscious decision. Just like you can have an itch on your leg, you can also have a psychological itch. By that I mean uncomfortable or unpleasant internal states. As I said before, these states are seen by your brain as problems that need to be solved. Instinctively, you want to remedy the discomfort. Here's a list of some very common psychological itches, and there are of course many more. And in just the same way as the itching example, eating can be a solution to these problems. And eating works very well. It's a powerful way to regulate emotions. You eat something tasty and almost immediately you feel better. You've done this countless times since you were a small child, and it's a standard strategy for your brain. It's such a habit to use eating as a solution that it's become an all-in-one solution for psychological discomfort. If I make a quick model of this process, it would look like this, with eating as the all-in-one solution to unpleasant emotions and internal states. When seeing this, it's obvious that it can lead to a lot of weight gain because you're eating for many more reasons than to satisfy natural hunger. It's clear to see that eating obviously isn't a good solution to any of these underlying emotions. It doesn't address the root cause and it brings unwanted consequences. These types of patterns often go unnoticed if you haven't actively tried to find them. That's because the process, as we know, is mostly automatic and unconscious, as I said before. But when I present it like this, you can probably relate to a few, if not all of them. And after this video, you can start noticing when it happens in real time. It takes a lot of practice to get good at that, and the only thing you might notice when you start is just feeling hungry or feeling a craving. But if you look a little bit deeper, you'll find these underlying causes. Once you can start to notice and understand your emotional eating patterns, you'll be in a much better place to try new solutions that don't involve eating. Here's a golden rule to change. To change an old habit, you must remedy an old need. That means that you should try to find better solutions to what's actually bothering you. If you feel lonely a lot, for example, then eating obviously is a fake solution. Instead, maybe you need to see loved ones more, join a community, make friends, or find a partner, something like that. It's crucial that you practice this a lot. Make it a habit to reflect on your emotional state whenever you feel hunger or cravings. For extra effect, register your observations in a log with pen and paper. Just carry around a small notebook or a piece of paper, and every time you feel like you want a snack, make a mark and note down the emotional state that might have triggered it. Like, for example, draw a line, write stress, and then you can come up with a different solution, like taking a break or going for a walk instead of having a snack. Finding your emotional eating patterns and better solutions takes time, and it is a process of trial and error. The most important thing to do is just something new, right? Just break the cycle. Aim to do that as often as you can, but know that change is always a process with ups and downs, and perfect is not the goal. Just aim for change, aim to break the cycle, and that's progress. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. I hope it was informative and helpful for you. Please leave a comment down below about what you think about this topic, if you can relate to any of this and the progress you're making. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.